A consultant spends 3 hours writing a careful proposal. The prospect replies, "Thanks, we'll keep you in mind." The consultant is genuinely good at the work, but the prospect never saw that skill in action. Mace, good to have you here. Let me ask you something. Before you send a pitch, proposal, or resume, what can a stranger inspect that proves how you think? Not the adjectives in your bio, not strategic, reliable, or results-oriented. Something useful, something real, because online, invisible capability is often treated like a claim, and claims make people work too hard to trust you. Today I want to show you a simple alternative, a proof of work portfolio. That sounds a little grand, but the idea is small. You create one public demonstration of how you solve a valuable problem, then connect it to one sensible next step. It could be a diagnostic, a calculator, a planning worksheet, a before and after example, or a lightweight prototype. The goal is not to impress everybody. The goal is for the right person to think, this is exactly the problem I'm trying to understand, and this person seems to know what matters. That can support authority, sales, referrals, and even the discovery of a future digital product. Here's the thing. You do not need a huge audience, expensive software, or a perfect brand to start. Trust is still the bottleneck in online business, especially when the customer has many apparently similar choices. More content does not automatically solve that. A useful demonstration often communicates more than another page of promises. It lives on something you control. It can keep working after the social post disappears. That's digital real estate with a job to do. The tricky part is deciding what to show, how much to build, and where to send somebody afterward. Let's start with the decision that determines everything else. Choose one problem, not your entire identity. Ask, what frustrating or expensive decision do I understand well enough to make clearer? Maybe a local business cannot tell which website pages deserve attention first. Maybe a small grower is planting a garden without considering water and sunlight. Maybe a solo operator is losing hours to a repetitive process. Those are much better starting points than I help businesses grow. Try finishing this sentence. I help a specific kind of person make a better decision about a specific problem. For example, I help local service businesses identify the pages most likely to deserve their next hour of search work. Or I help small growers plan a low water garden using the space and materials they already have. Now you have an audience, a problem, and a decision. That is enough to build around. You're not trying to prove everything you know. You're trying to make one valuable capability visible. Next, ask what small artifact would make your method believable, not the whole client engagement. The smallest useful piece. A search strategist might create a one-page priority check. An operations consultant might make a worksheet that estimates the monthly time consumed by a recurring task. A designer might show a before and after page and explain why the new version makes the next action easier to find. Remove your name from the first screen for a moment. Is the thing still useful? Can it help someone notice, compare, calculate, or decide? If yes, you're building proof. If it only says hire me because I'm experienced, it's still a brochure. There are 3 formats I return to. A diagnostic helps someone see what may be wrong or underperforming. A calculator makes trade-offs easier to understand. A before and after example makes change visible. None of these has to be complicated. A diagnostic should show the observation, why it matters, and the first reasonable improvement. A calculator should show the inputs and assumptions, not pretend to predict the future. And a before and after example should explain the reasoning, not just place 2 screenshots side by side and hope the contrast does the selling. The explanation is the valuable part. A pretty result can demonstrate output. Your reasoning demonstrates judgment. Say what changed, what you were trying to improve, and what the example cannot establish. That last part matters. A polished demonstration can imply results that are not representative of every situation. State the inputs. State the limitations. If it's an estimate, call it an estimate. Accuracy is not something to hide at the bottom of the page. It is part of the proof. And yes, this is where people get carried away. They build the dashboard before they prove the question matters. AI, templates, no-code tools, and what people call vibe coding can reduce the cost of a first version. I can organize a checklist, rewrite confusing instructions, generate sample inputs, or turn a rough calculation into a simple interface. Useful? Absolutely. But the tool does not decide what matters. It does not know whether your metric is misleading or whether a recommendation fits the real situation. You supply the judgment. The software supplies leverage. Start with the least impressive technology that can prove the point. A spreadsheet that gets used beats a custom app that gets admired once. A plain web page may beat an automated funnel. A downloadable worksheet may reveal the logic better than a polished interface. Sequence the work. First, test whether the problem is real and whether the artifact helps. Then, improve the experience when people use it, ask better questions, or take the next step. Don't spend 3 weeks automating a tool nobody needs. Now, a useful proof asset needs somewhere to go. A visitor reaches the end, thinks that was helpful, and leaves. That happens all the time. Give the asset 4 things: context, evidence, limitations, and 1 clear next action. Context says who it's for. Evidence shows what the tool or example actually does. Limitations set honest boundaries. The next action tells an interested person how to continue. 1 action, not 7 buttons competing for attention. A diagnostic might lead to a review request. A worksheet might lead to a planning session or a more complete paid template. Also say who should not use it. That can increase trust. This quick check is for sites with an existing service and a few important pages. It does not replace a full technical audit, or this garden worksheet is a starting point for small spaces. It cannot account for every local condition. Good qualification protects your time and improves the match. You are not trying to maximize free advice or collect the biggest possible audience. You're trying to connect the right problem, the right evidence, and the right next step. Let's walk through the website example. Instead of publishing another general article about ranking, create a focused page that helps a local business find the 3 pages most likely to deserve its next hour of search work. Ask about its services, locations, important pages, and current traffic. Then provide a priority and explain why. Maybe a valuable service has no dedicated page. Maybe the page that gets inquiries uses unclear language. You are not promising a ranking position. You are showing how you prioritize business relevance over a random list of technical terms. At the end, the visitor can request a deeper review using the information they already entered. That is a decision path. The asset gives them a small experience of your process before a sales conversation. And notice what else happens. Their questions become research. If people keep asking how to fix one issue, you may have the beginning of a guide, a template, or a small product. The proof asset is not only marketing. It can show you what the market is confused about and willing to act on. The same pattern works elsewhere. A garden planner can ask about space, sunlight, water, intended use, and materials already available, then suggest a planning sequence. It doesn't replace local knowledge. It helps a beginner avoid obvious mistakes. An automation builder can publish a small workflow showing how an inquiry moves from an inbox into a review queue, including where a person approves the next action. That safeguard is part of the proof. Useful automation is not about making every task disappear. It is about making the right tasks easier to manage. So how do you know whether the asset is working? Don't begin with page views. After the first 30 visitors, record 3 numbers: completed interactions, qualified replies, and people who reach the next step. If completion is low, fix the tool or the instructions. If completion is high but replies are zero, fix the offer, the qualification, or the connection between the result and the next step. Pay attention to repeated questions too. Confusion is data. It may mean there is demand, but the explanation needs work. Then maintain it once a month, not every hour. Ask, is the problem still relevant? Are the examples and inputs accurate? Are people misunderstanding anything? Is the next step still appropriate? Make a small update when evidence changes. Remove a feature if it creates confusion. You do not need a new asset every week. One strong demonstration, getting clearer over time, is often more valuable than the stream of disconnected content. That's how a digital asset becomes durable instead of becoming another treadmill. Let's take a closer look at the traps. Don't build proof for everybody. Broad audiences create generic artifacts. Don't confuse polish with credibility. Beautiful interfaces can make weak reasoning look confident. Don't claim outcomes you have not measured. And don't attract people who love free tools but never need your paid work. Tie the asset to a specific audience, a qualification question, and an appropriate offer. A useful proof asset is not a giveaway. It is a small, honest demonstration of fit. If you want to build one this week, make the plan almost uncomfortably small. Choose one person or type of business. Write down one problem that costs them time, money, attention, or confidence. Pick one format. Diagnostic, calculator, or before and after example. Build it as a document, spreadsheet, or a plain page if that's enough. Explain what the visitor provides, how you reach the result, and what the result does not mean. Add one next step. Put it somewhere you control. Share it with a few people who fit the audience, and watch what they do, not just what they say. Think about that for a moment. Your first proof asset should not represent everything you know. Its job is to make one capability visible. Claims ask people to trust your description of yourself. Proof gives them something they can inspect. Over time, several focused demonstrations can connect into a stronger digital property. One page helps diagnose, another helps estimate, another shows how you handle the work. Together, they create a picture of your judgment. Let's connect the dots. Problem, proof, path, feedback. So here's your practical question. What is one person, one decision, and one small artifact you could publish this week? A checklist, a spreadsheet, a clear example, a tiny prototype. Don't wait until it represents your entire business. Make one valuable capability easier for the right person to understand. If this helped you think differently about authority, digital real estate, or building a more independent business, subscribe to the show. I'll keep bringing you practical systems that turn useful work into durable leverage. Well, that's enough to think about for today. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. I'll catch you in the next one.